am live in Kick-Ass Studios for you to talk about the #1 killer of life and career dreams, self-doubt. Oh my gosh, this is a major, major problem. And I'm going to tell you why it's a major problem. I'm going to tell you how to pinpoint whether this is a problem you have. And I'm going to show you some ways to solve self-doubt. I know. Listen, if you're over the age of 40, you've had probably 2 decades of a bit of self-doubt programming. And it may be getting in your way a bit. I'm going to tell you how that happens. If you're over the age of 50 and things have gone difficult for you over your life, this might be something you're not even aware of. So I talk to thousands of women every single year on something called a career clarity call. And what I've found is that this, not really mysterious, but this tricky little self-doubt finds its way in the souls of thousands of women, probably millions around the globe, all the time. And it is the exact ingredient that will kill every possible new opportunity. It will kill every hope and every dream that you have. And if you're sitting there watching me and you're thinking to yourself, well, I used to have dreams, or perhaps you're thinking, I used to have a smile on my face. I used to think that life was going to be better. And then I lost it somewhere along the road. First of all, you're not alone, but this is a significant problem that is costing you not only emotional and spiritual joy and happiness in your life, it's probably costing those around you, because you're not the version of you that they want you to be, and frankly, that you want you to be. So this is a problem that affects all areas of your life, not just your career. It trickles into your career because guess what? You bring your soul everywhere you go. Now, one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping you bring your soul up, bring your soul back to life, and then you bring your soul to work, and then things are better for you. It's somewhat magical, but it's not that simple, because you've spent your entire life kicking your soul down, repressing all of your major emotions, and now you may be left with a very damaged, dim soul. Your internal light, that thing that makes you you, that's your soul. That's the best part of you. And so many of the women that I work with in my career coaching and my workshops, so many women I talk to, this is the biggest problem that's holding them back, because they all have educations, they all have experience, they all have expertise in their professions. But what has happened is that over the years, self-doubt has crept in, and it has created, among other things, so let me give you the short list of what self-doubt creates. Self-doubt creates all sorts of unidentifiable unhappiness, energy depletion, problems in your personal life, being isolated from friends. Self-doubt begins to trickle into every part of you. Eventually, it begins creeping into your body. Because if you don't pay attention to this soul-dimming problem, eventually your body is the last resort of trying to get your attention. So many women I talk to have weight gain, trouble sleeping, getting into some irritability. I've had women in my workshop who have basically quit their jobs because emotionally they were in such a pressure cooker of pushing their emotions down that they couldn't hold the lid on any longer. Things said, emails sent out, kind of disastrous stuff. If you're here with me today, why don't you go ahead and pop me a comment so I know you're here and I can say hello to you specifically. And if you have a question about self-doubt, or if you have a question about something that may be affecting your career, feel free to pop in a comment so I know you're here and I could answer a question if you have that. Yes, indeed, Paige. Hi, Paige, Laura, Stacy. Nice to see you, ladies. So self-doubt creeps in. and starts to erode your self-confidence. Now, most people say that I have a self-confidence issue. I don't have enough confidence in myself. I get that. And that's what the brain interprets it. But really, there's something deeper. There's a doubt in the self that's deeper than self-confidence. Because that way, you even are eroding your very thoughts that you have. You're eroding every piece of who you are and what you think about. Every time you have a thought, if you're trapped in self-doubt, all those thoughts are colored with the filter of that self-doubt. And it can create a life of literal misery. Hello, Nancy and Kristen. Hey, Tracy, how are you? And Laura Jones, nice to see you. Mary, nice to see you too. So all of your life, you've been given messages about who you are, who you ought to be, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you can and can't do. All of these things have been forced upon you by people who love you and want the best for you. But they've been coming from their own sense of fears and their own sense of self-doubt. Look, if you have self-doubt and fear as a parent, you're going to implant that right on your kid. You can't do that. You'll never get ahead. No one in this family ever gets ahead. We've all got bad luck. Stacy, you're just turned 50 and you're afraid you're more unmarketable than ever. I hear you, and I understand why. Yes, those dang limiting beliefs of self-doubt do hang in there. Michelle, nice to see you. So here's the depth that self-doubt goes into. Anytime there's an opportunity, self-doubt will cause your inner thoughts to quickly grab any possibility that that's possible for you. I was sitting next to one of my wonderful clients the other day when I was out in LA. We had a nice kick-ass gathering, got together for brunch. One of these ladies flew in from San Fran, totally blessed, Isis, that she came out and said hello, and we had some quality time together. Look, I'm going to tell you something that's really awesome. All the ladies who have been in my kick-ass workshop over the years now have these little alumni groups in their different cities, and they have a sisterhood that is developed around the world. And that sisterhood is a continual network of support and like-minded, success-minded, joy-oriented human beings on this planet. With almost 600 of those women walking around this planet, just imagine the ripple effect. Not only in their lives and careers, but also many of them talk to me about how it has punctuated the lives of their kids, how they've been able to parent differently, how they've been more empowering with their spouse or their spouse more empowering with them, friends that are reignited. And you know what? Sometimes relationships that fall away because sometimes our relationships are built on the fact that we are either needy or they are needing us. And when we change the script and we become more of an inner being that is joyous and happy, not everyone's along for the ride, because there might be some people in your life who really love it that you have self-doubt, because they might be getting off a little bit on the fact that you're not as powerful and as strong. That might be helping them feel better. I know that doesn't sound very human and very uplifting. Hey, Christina, glad you're a first-time joiner. Hopefully you're going to love what you hear today. Hopefully it'll impact and resonate with you. So self-doubt creeps in by the cans, can'ts, shoulds, shouldn'ts, all of that coming all of your life. As a woman in particular, we're told a lot of things that are lies about what we can and can't do, what we should and shouldn't do, what to be fearful of, etc. I talk all the time about some of the things that were encoded in me as a young girl, as a young woman. I started out my career as a nurse. I had to stand up and give the doctors the chairs in the nursing area. What did that say to me as a young woman? That I'm not worth it? That I don't deserve to be treated well? Now, no one said that to my face, but the unspoken message was deep. So all my career, I felt unworthy compared to the doctors in my world. And as a nurse, That is drilled into you. Now, I got to tell you, when you're in the hospital, guess who's saving your life? A nurse. That's what's going on in the real world. In the hospital, nurses are taking care of patients 24/7. So they are really needed, really necessary, and they got to be on top of their game because they're seeing everything that's going on with that patient. And if that nurse has self-doubt, she's not calling the doctor on time. She's feeling like crap if she doesn't know what's going on with that patient. And therefore, self-doubt literally can kill people in that scenario. I've seen it lots of times. I hate to admit, my sister brethren, my man brethren, nurses, spending so much time in self-doubt that they don't make good decisions in the clinical environment. Let's say you're an IT person. Same thing goes there. You see a flaw in a program, you see a flaw in a process, you see a flaw in something that has to be changed or altered. You're not going to speak up if you have self-doubt. That program's going to go out the way that it was. If you have self-doubt and speak up, you're probably not being heard because your self-doubt is trumping the words. You know what I mean? Not being heard in a meeting, being disregarded. What does she really know? Have you been there? I bet you have. I have. I started out my life as a very shy, awkward tomboy. Super, super geeked out on science, loved sports, played musical instruments. I was a little bit of everything, and I didn't know really who I was. And when I got into high school, I really loved science so much that I got into a science club, and I started doing stuff with Boy Scouts. Talk about not fitting in. Because the Girl Scouts didn't have something that would piqued my interest from a science perspective. I learned how to be a advanced first aid person. We ran mock drills of car accidents. I loved it. And I was kind of the only girl doing that. I got some sun in my eyes coming in my office and I have to turn slightly. So when we have self-doubt, it creeps into everything we know about who we are. I doubted my whole sense of self as being a girl who liked science. I went to college for nursing and enjoyed all of that, but then as a nurse, I'm now doubting, am I worthy of it? Why didn't I become a doctor? Because those people get a lot of privileges I'm not having as a nurse. But as a nurse, I felt like I was doing what I was meant to do, and that was to save people and have them feel better. But I eventually climbed into more management ranks and built my career as a healthcare executive, because what I found I really liked doing is lifting people and taking care of a patient one at a time. I felt that I could do more. So when I got into management, I was managing people oftentimes who were older than me, and I started having self-doubt about that, and people would tell me, how dare you tell me what to do? You could be young enough to be my daughter. All kinds of sprinkles of self-doubt, decisions I didn't make because of it, jobs I didn't go for because of it, promotions I didn't get, or I accepted the fact that I didn't get them. If you want to add up all of the missed opportunities for self-doubt, it may be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It may be cost you already $1 million in earnings having self-doubt because you haven't gone for the opportunities. You've been passed over for promotions and you've just put up with it because that's what you were told to do. You were told to go back to work and prove yourself for the next one, and maybe the next one you'll get. And you stayed at a company too long, or you accepted the poor treatment too long because you didn't think that you could do anything else. Or here's one for you that I hear all the time. Ladies, please think about your decisions. Well, I stayed in this job because they let me go early to pick up my kid or go to soccer practice or make dental appointments. That isn't the only job that's going to do that for you. So if you're being underemployed, pushed down, passed over, if you're being given doses of evidence of your self-doubt every day, and that is what happens. When you have self-doubt, you see the self-doubt played out in the external world. You see how this whole universe works is the inner vibration of you shows up in the outer world. I know we don't like to think of it that way because then that puts a whole lot of responsibility on us. Mo, I've already got a family, kids, I've got a job, I got to take responsibility for this too. I'm not blaming you or shaming you or anything like that, but I'm here to explain to you how that self-doubt is a real crusher, not only of how you feel, but it filters every opportunity. It filters every thought you have. It crushes everything. It is no good to you at all. And all of that pressure in the outside world that is happening to you to show you that you have self-doubt in there that has to get fixed, that has to get up-leveled, is asking you to pay attention. How much pain? How much less money? How many promotions do you have to be passed over for in order for you to pay attention to this self-doubt that's going on inside of you? Make a comment here to the right, well, that's where it shows up for me, below, on what it's going to take for you to repair that self-doubt. I'm going to say this to you. It is fixable. Believe it or not. You may think that this is just part of life. You may have been so lied to and so believe those lies that you think that life is like this. And that is absolutely not true. You can have a life that is not infested with self-doubt. It's called living a joyous, happy life. It's called bringing your soul's vibration up. It's called resuscitating that soul. It's called being in your dream job and in your dream life. And all of that is possible. You can ask many of the ladies who are commenting below who have been in my workshop, done my work, done it for themselves, not my work. They're doing their work to get their lives and their souls on track. You're in a new district, you've been struggling, acting overconfident, not showing enough respect for those. Oh, Paige, rock on. Way to take responsibility. So when we actually overperform, great point. When we are overperforming, either for the job we have or the pay we have, for the title, etc., when we are overperforming, we are probably overcompensating for this self-doubt problem. You don't have to overperform or overprove yourself unless you have a deep deficit. Do you have a deep deficit? Is it internal? Or is your deficit out there? Your self-doubt shows up in so many different varieties. Anytime you're on the struggle bus, anytime you're on the suffer or victim bus, all roads point to self-doubt. And that may be difficult to hear. The self-responsibility that's necessary to fix it may be a difficult thing for you to grab a hold to. I'm going to tell you the women we talked to on the career clarity calls who have this as one of their problems. I talked to a woman earlier today. First of all, she got fired. That didn't feel good. It was the best job she ever had money-wise. And there's an element of the assessment I did with her that she self-sabotaged because it was more money than she had ever made. And so what happens there is that our subconscious is convincing ourselves that we're not worthy of that. And so there's a self-sabotage thing that goes on. And not all self-sabotage is that obvious. She actually broke an ankle. And then it was a terrible cascade of events after that where she got super defensive and basically didn't get along with anyone else at work. Here's the thing. We can fix that problem. Can't fix her ankle. But we can fix the problem and get her back to work faster than she's been able to do so far. She's out of work about 2 months now. And the prospects don't look very bright. But after you've been out of work for a couple of months, that self-doubt seems like a permanent condition. And making an empowered decision to hire a coach, to get help, to get lifted back into your power seems like such a far, far-fetched thing to happen. I understand that. A lot of women who've come into our workshop have felt that same way. And what they found is that leap of faith is the most important ingredient in their success going forward. So here's the thing. If you're on the cliff of self-doubt, if self-doubt has grabbed you by the throat and controlled your life for way too long, the good news is it's fixable. The bad news is the longer you persist in that disease state, the worse it's going to get. The worse it's going to get. I've had a few women who've come into the workshop months, even actually years after having their first career clarity call. They didn't have what it took for them to make the decision the first time. Unfortunately, we don't tell people how to change their lives. We offer it to them. You see, with self-doubt, the first main ingredient is self-responsibility. You can't cure self-doubt by another degree, another certificate, more education. You can't cure self-doubt with that. It doesn't cut it. All you end up doing is piling more evidence that you can't get ahead on top of the self-doubt. So by the time you stacked up the advanced degrees and all the certificates to be better at your job, if you stack that on top of self-doubt, you now have such an overeducated, underemployed situation that the evidence is pointing dramatically toward, I can't possibly get ahead. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to hire me. It becomes a bigger problem. So if we can help you aggregate some evidence toward how awesome you are, that's the first thing. But you've got to take responsibility for the fact that that's the thing that's plaguing you. So if you're not where you want to be in your career, chances are other aspects of your life probably are underperforming also. But the way we focus on your career allows us to have a tangible strategy that we employ on top of helping you cure the self-doubt problem. So, look, if I was pointing at you and saying, you got a self-doubt problem, you got to fix it. So here's how we're going to fix your self-doubt. First of all, your defense mechanisms will be all heightened. You think I was a weirdo. You think I was overpromising. How can you possibly fix that? I've been feeling this way for my entire life. Matter of fact, you might say to yourself, this is who I am, Mo. Don't try to fix who I am. But here's the thing, it's showing up in your career. That's how I can tell that this is a problem. When it shows up in your career, it's costing you real money. It's costing you real respect. It's costing you an energy drain that you can't even measure. Because in order to work on top of massive self-doubt, you have to effort yourself through everything. And that burns the hell out of you. So a lot of women who are in our workshop are so depleted energetically, so depleted emotionally, they are exhausted. So the first thing we have to do is bring their soul back to life and then help them replenish who they are. Because I don't care how great your resume is. I don't care how great your LinkedIn profile is. If it's on top of self-doubt that has crushed you and poisoned you for years, you're not going to interview well. And frankly, in the vibrational universe, you're not going to attract the best opportunities. People are going to underemploy you. You're going to be chronically underemployed as long as self-doubt persists. So if you look at your career right now, just try this out for a second, just to see. Over the last 5 years, have you advanced? How about over the last 10? If you have a healthy career trajectory, you advance every 2 to 3 years. If you have an average career trajectory, you advance every 5. And every 5 is underperforming. So what you want is you want a steady climb forward every 2 to 3 years. And if that's not happening, you have a problem. It's just like if you were doing anything else and you were continuing to do it, you would be getting better at it. You would be progressing. You would be getting better marks. If you are a runner, chances are you run better now than you ran 5 years ago. It's easier for you. Your heart rate doesn't go up as high. Those are the things that mark health. You have better metrics when you practice something. And the better metric in a career is better title, better pay, better appreciation and recognition. If you're not getting that every 2 to 3 years, you have a problem. If you've not gotten it over the past 5, you have a problem. If it's been greater than that, you have a massive, massive career problem. Just like if you had high blood pressure and you didn't take care of it, it's going to cause you to stroke out. So if you have a career issue that you have not taken care of, it's going to cause you to stroke out career-wise. And I see this all the time. Women who get fired after being on the job for 28, 30, 32 years. 32 years, one of our ladies. Massive job trauma for about 10 years. And then she finally got fired. We see it all the time in job elimination. Well, why were you on the list of losing your job? Good question, though. They kept some people in my department. Why was I one of the ones picked? Probably have ambivalence. You probably have shut down. You've probably not shown your worth in meetings or reminded people of the value you bring. Or you may just be getting so depleted because you're overperforming that you're so run out of steam that you're not really fun to be around. Perhaps you're the Debbie Downer in meetings and they're sick and tired of hearing that. I did a Facebook Live, I don't know, it was a while probably ago, that one of the major career killers, and I'm going to remind you right now, ladies, if you have self-doubt as a problem and you want to prove how smart you are, you might be that person in the meeting who plays devil's advocate. I'm going to tell you right now, stop doing that. If there's any executive in a meeting and you're playing devil's advocate, they don't like you. They might appreciate the content of your insight, but you're coming across as a naysayer, as someone who doesn't see things positively. They don't want to keep including you in meetings. You could be getting disinvited to certain meetings that you could provide value to, but you're not getting invited because over-proving how smart you are is getting on their nerves. And the only reason why you're doing it is because you have self-doubt and a low confidence level, and you're trying to pump that up. You're trying to pretend it doesn't exist. So you see how these things persist. Let's do some math. If you've been underperforming in your job, and again, it's usually boils all the way down to self-doubt, but let's say you've been underperforming and you haven't gotten a promotion in 10 years. And let's say under a healthy condition, you would have been promoted or increased your job title and money over those 10 years 4 times. 2.5 years is a pretty good number. So over that period of time, over that 10 years, a 20% increase every 5 years, a 40 or 50% increase over 10 years for sure. So if 10 years ago you were at 100K and now you've gotten your 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 2 to 3%, maybe you're at 115. Where in a healthy career, you'd be popping into 180. 80K over 10 years, 800,000. If you ramp it up, 20,000 every couple of years. Let's do the aggregate math. Over 10 years, 20,000 is 200. Halfway there, you're at 40. We're talking about $1 million over that trajectory that you've lost out on. And then the going forward, just forget about it. Right? Just forget about it. Here's the other thing that most women don't understand in managing their careers. If you have not gotten somewhere that you want to go in your career, you might be playing this card. I don't want to go up any higher in this organization. All those people are stressed out. They don't have a life. Rationalization, defense mechanism, That's called fear in a masquerade party. So your fear of what that looks like to be more successful, that fear of being at a higher level of responsibility has gotten all masqueraded up into a story about how awful it could be to have a higher level job. Women I work with and coach with and get them into higher level jobs realize a few things about higher level jobs. The people that are up there are cooler to hang out with. They're smarter. They're more positive. They're more optimistic. And oh, by the way, you have more autonomy when you move up in a career. You call the shots more. You're actually asked for your opinion, and you are allowed to make decisions. If you don't want to make decisions, if you don't want to have an impact in the world, it's because you have self-doubt. There is not a soul on this planet who doesn't want to be important or appreciated or recognized. Every human soul wants that. It's a deep need because our soul was born to expand. And when it doesn't expand, it shrinks. And it hurts. And when it shrinks and hurts and gets injured, it has to create a story around why that happened. So now you have a limiting belief that matches your experience. And those get stacked on one after another over your lifetime. Look, by the time you're 30, you have a ton of limiting beliefs that have been stacked on the hurt of your soul getting crushed. By the time you're 40, you can hardly see past it. And by the time you're 50, there's probably a disease process that's already begun manifesting itself to try to get your freaking attention. Perhaps you're pre-diabetic. Perhaps you've had a thyroid issue, arthritis, stomach issues. You might think this is part of life, but really it's a manifestation of feeling crappy about yourself. It's the manifestation of you poisoning yourself with your negative thoughts. And those aggregate over time. Success does too. Success aggregates over time also. If you would spend all of those thought processes going positive on yourself, just think where your life and career would be. You'd be having this going forward. I actually had a pretty darn good career trajectory. My whole entire 30-year career moved up pretty well. But let me tell you something. I heard this from people. She can't hold a job. She keeps moving from place to place. I'm going to tell you what, I think I had 12 jobs in my 30-year career. They were all better, higher paid. Higher titles, which is currency on your resume. But I didn't keep a job greater than 5 years ever. And sometimes I lost my job. I lost my job 6 times in my career. I could say I was a failure if I wanted to. I could also say that when you play in the high stakes game, that's going to happen. But guess what? When you're higher up, you get severance packages. When you're in the executive suite and they get rid of you, they take care of you better. That's what happens. When you're in a lower echelon, they don't give a crap because it's a reflection of how you feel about yourself. Are you getting this? Give me a comment and let me know that you're getting this, because this is the biggest career problem. You can't out-educate self-doubt. You can't outwork self-doubt. You can't. You're going to crush yourself trying to do it. I was talking to a woman earlier today. I hope she joins my workshop because she freaking needs it. She's losing $50K a year, hemming and hawing, and lacking trust and confidence in herself. So when she goes on interviews to get that next level, they're not hiring her. And you know what? If you have a clarity call with me or one of my team, we're going to tell you stuff like that. We're going to be honest because we care about you. We're going to tell you the truth because we know what's on the other side of that truth. And if you're one of the great, lucky, wonderful women who says yes to herself and joins our workshop, we get to fix that so you can have an awesome life and feel great about yourself. Lisa, so getting it, sigh. Nancy Richardson, you were right on, Mo. Thank you, Nancy. I don't think I know you. Teresa, getting it. I know you are. Powerful advice here. Christina, and you're the lady who said the first time on. What are you thinking now? If you're picking up what I'm throwing down, you might want to book a career clarity call. That's how we really change women's lives. So on a career clarity call, we're going to assess what's really going on. And this woman I just talked to earlier today, she's got all the right educational degrees. She's been in her career long enough that she should be at that next level. She hasn't been able to get there. With all due respect to her, she had all sorts of excuses. Husband this, moved that, in-laws this. Every successful person has those same problems, and yet they're able to succeed. Interesting. There is not a single successful person who has not also had to navigate their personal life. Nope. And you know what? When you leverage resources and when you know who you are from the inside, you now have a reference point of power versus having a reference point of all of these people's opinions. What's going to kill your career on top of self-doubt is that it invites the opinion of everyone. If everyone has an opinion about your life and career, you got a massive problem. Because you don't know who to listen to. You don't know which way to go. This person says that, this person says that, this person says that, this person says that. Here's the thing. You either hire an expert or only listen to someone who is like 2 or 3 tiers above you in your career. No one else knows what they're talking about. They're coming out of their own fears, their own insecurities, their own self-doubt. They're going to riddle you with their problems. And they're going to make it seem like you can't get ahead and you can't do anything. And you're going to believe them. Why? Because you don't have a strong reference point of your own sense of self. If your soul is depleted and crushed, you're going to listen to everyone else and at the same time go nowhere. I shared something on my personal Facebook page today. There was a post from a while back that I just happened to come across. And it was folks in a nursing home who had like these signs, what their name was, how old they were, and their advice to the younger generation. Never follow a man. Are you guilty of that? Have your own life. Let the man follow you. Or find a man at the place where you got to go. Number 2, take advantage of every opportunity offered to you. Have you? This is what the people who are in their 90s are telling us. They've lived life longer than us. Sort of one category of an expert. They're further down the pike. Love more. Live more. Live your own life. Do things now that while you can. This one woman wrote, have a bungalow and a walk-in shower now. So in other words, enjoy your life. If you're busy suffering through work and your family life and your life sucks, you got a massive problem. It's like you have high blood pressure and you're not treating it. But you think it's normal, so you're not treating it. And meanwhile, I can guarantee you, you're going to stroke out. You're going to have adrenal fatigue. You're going to gain weight. You're going to be freaking miserable. You're going to yell at people you don't want to yell at. You're going to quit a job, or you're going to be horrible to work with and people aren't going to want to be around you. Or you're going to decide that you are the devil's advocate person at work and you're just going to be the negative Nelly. And that's your banner. Gosh darn it. That's who I'm going to be in life. Well, that sucks. There is no one having fun being the devil's advocate. No one. So if you're the devil's advocate or you're Debbie Downer at work, you're not having fun doing that. Let's be honest. It sucks. And you feel lousy. And you're trying to find some avenue of not feeling so lousy. So you're grabbing at anything you know. And if that's all you know, you are definitely suffering. And you are definitely not performing well in your career. And you are definitely not going anywhere. Definitely. I don't even know where you work, but I know this to be true. So, yes, 80 in the rocking chair, Teresa, and no regrets. Kelly, nice to see you here. Helena, very frequent in performing careers. Very frequent in performing. All right, rock on. Michelle, you don't have this disease fully. That's right, because you are working on it. And so thank you very much, Paula. You are ready to move up, Paula. Let's make that happen for you. Let's dive in there. Your self-doubt is the biggest root cause if your career is not where you want it to be. I'd love to help you with it. Look, I'm not the only career coach on the planet. I'm not. I just have a secret recipe that includes bringing your soul back to life. And I found that you cannot land a better job. You cannot go where you haven't been before if you're the same version of you as a manager. You cannot take that same person and go director. If you get that promotion and you're not a different version of you, you're going to lose that job. Guaranteed. Because that imposter syndrome is going to kill you. And you're going to overwork yourself, and you're going to absolutely hate it, and then you're going to absolutely convince yourself that you can't work at that high of a level, and who wants it anyway? I don't need the money. I don't need that $110,000 a year job. I don't need it. I don't need to make that kind of money, Mo. Money's not important to me. Said no one who is successful. You will make important what you make important. I know, tricky, right? Write it down. You will make important what you make important. Is it important to brush your teeth every day? Yeah, you probably do it. Is it important to take a shower every day? Yeah, you probably do it. Is it important to meditate every day? Yep, I do it. Is it important to drink the amount of water that your body needs every day? Yep, do it. Is it important to move your body regularly and eat healthy foods? Yep, doing it. Is it important to move forward in life, have better experiences, enjoy life and go on trips and enjoy material things in the world that you can have fun and enjoy life with? Yep. Is it great to have experiences with your kids that you don't have to think about being a penny pincher? Yep. Is it great to be recognized and appreciated in life and your career and to know that you're a valuable, talented human being? Yep. So go do that. Go make that happen for yourself. Go live life. Do not let self-doubt be what's living your life. Please hit the game over button on self-doubt and make a decision that's important for you to cure that disease, for you to come out of that. You are more valuable than living with that vice around your neck and crushing your soul and crushing your head and causing adrenal fatigue and all sorts of diseases that'll spin off of that based on your genetic heritage. The diseases will come if they haven't already. The sleep disorders will come if they haven't already. So what are you willing to sacrifice? How much pain do you need to get going in order for you to solve this self-doubt problem? As you can see, I'm super passionate about this. This is the number one thing that kills women's souls and careers. It may be killing yours. It may be. And if it is, it can get fixed. You've got to be committed to it being important, which means you've got to be committed to you being important. I know that if you have a family that you live with, they all want you to be happy. Matter of fact, one of our husbands got on the coaching call last week. It was super, super cute. Shout out to Tammy and Daryl. Daryl gets on the coaching call, leans his head into the video platform that we're on for our coaching calls, and spouts out about how much happier his wife is. I don't know what you're doing, Mo, but you've made her a much happier person, and I'm liking it. Spreading all kinds of joy in this household. Super blessed and happy that he popped on and shared that. All the ladies on the coaching call that night got a real lift from him sharing his enthusiasm and sharing what he sees in his wife now after just a couple of weeks in the coaching process. And this woman had tons of self-doubt. She had to downgrade her career just to get by, and we're helping her move out of that and get herself back up. So these are the things that happen. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Yes, you're not in the internal same place at all. owning your expertise, owning the fact that you are a game changer yourself. So if you would like to get back into this, yes, self-doubt does equal scarcity. Excellent math equation. Not only does self-doubt equal scarcity, self-doubt equals soul death. So soul death. Can't even say it. It's so sad to think about. If your soul has been living a slow death, please call us. Book your career clarity call and let's get started on understanding what's really going on. You've got to see the truth. You've got to know what the truth really is about what's really going on. And chances are, if you're coachable and ready to rock and roll, chances are we can help you fix it. Now, it's not always the case. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes there's problems or things that we can't fix. And you know what, if that's the case, we won't invite you to the workshop. If I can't help you, if what's going on with you is not what I fix, I'm not going to invite you to my workshop. I only work with those women who have the problems that we fix. That's it. If you're unsure, book a clarity call. If you're ready to take yourself where you've never been before, you're going to have expert help to lift you to where you've never been before. We do that all day long, hundreds and hundreds of women every year. And at the same time, we have a very personal touch. Stacy, book your clarity call. We'll get you taken care of and we'll lift you. Many of the women here on this Motivational Monday are here because their lives and careers have been lifted and elevated through the work that we do in my Kick-Ass Workshop. I am so committed to changing women's lives and careers that if I could climb on every mountain on the planet and get this message out, I would. So Motivational Monday is one of those platforms. If you don't follow this Coach Mo Facebook page, make sure you do, because I go live all the time with additional inspiration. But here's the problem. A Facebook Live is not going to change your life. I know I'm great. I know it's inspiring. It's not going to change your life. You have to get into the real transformative journey. You have to commit to the time and effort to look inside, get the expert help, and do the things that we help our women learn how to do so that you can be changed forever. Changed forever. This is not just strategy. This is an internal transformation. It's going to lift your soul back, give you your smile back, give you your true, real energy and identity back. We change lives through the career portal. And then you have an asset that keeps giving back to you. You see, when your career is back on track and you're making that extra $50,000 a year, you now have more resources to do other cool, fun things. Think about that. So if you come into the workshop this year and you land a job making $30,000 to $50,000 more than you're making now, 10 years later, you have between $300,000 and $500,000 more to live your life, to put in the savings, to go on a few trips, pay down your mortgage, whatever you want to do. And that career keeps getting better, keeps growing, keeps additive. We have women who are saving money, paying off their credit cards, going on trips, buying new cars, going on trips they've never thought were possible, doing all of that and having a more robust career. It is the way to do it. All right. I've got coaching all week long. I'm super excited to dive into that with my ladies. If you're in my mastermind group, I'll see you Thursday night. If you're in the Kick-Ass Workshop, I'll actually be seeing you the next 3 nights in a row. Indeed. So we're rocking and rolling in the Kick-Ass Workshop, changing lives. We got a lot of ladies with final offers and final job interviews this week. It's really getting exciting for a lot of our ladies. One of our ladies just started her new job. Shout out to Nikki for your new job. Week 6 of the workshop. She's already in her dream job, rocking and rolling. Can't wait to hear about how that's going for you, Nikki. And awesome, awesome things are ahead for you if you cure that poison of self-doubt. Let's get that taken care of. Ladies, for those of you who have worked with me and work on yourselves and know how to bring your soul back to life and have claimed your truth and your power, awesome, and congratulations to you. If you're listening to this and you have not, book your clarity call. It's the way to get started. We do not work with anyone who we don't first talk to understand what's really going on. That's how we have such great results, because we make sure that our work matches what's going on. We'll see you next time. I'll be live in Facebook again, probably this week. I'm full of all kinds of inspiration when I do a lot of coaching, and this is another week where I'm doing a lot of coaching. So I'm going to be full of inspiration and messages for you. So if you don't follow this Coach Mo Facebook page, like it, follow it, whatever the right thing is to do on Facebook, so you get the notifications when I go live. And when new stuff is posted, you'll get the nice notification. That's how you can stay energized on the message. Monica, we're just wrapping up. Pop back to the beginning of this when we finish up, and you'll get the whole entire message. This is your career coach, Coach Mo Fall. I'm here to change souls and change careers forever. That's my path. I'm here for you. We'll see you next time on Motivational Monday, and any other random time through the week for a Facebook Live when I got something I want to share with you. You'll see me again this week. Love and blessings to your soul. Let's bring it back to life so you can have the career and life of your dreams. See you next time.